Today is Monday, and you're watching the Quest to Weigh Less Weekly Rant and Praise video. I have this person whom I used to be friends with, and we did everything together. We told each other everything, or so I thought, and we were honest with one another, and then something changed. Not on my part, mind you. The only thing that changed on my part is that I got more blatantly honest. I've always been honest. I've always had a hard time expressing myself to this individual because they hated my honesty. However, I would give it to them anyway, just in a less blatant way, and well, I've started to get very blatant lately. Sorry guys, I don't even know where I left off. And that brings me to another point of rant. And I said I wasn't even going to rant, and I started to get into a rant, and then the phone rang. So I lost my train of resentment, and I don't want that because I want to deal with it in the moment. Anyways, don't you hate when people call you or message you or you're just sitting there? Thankfully, I know how to edit, and I have a program. I'm so grateful. I feel so blessed. Without that, every freaking phone call, every person walking out into the room, every person coming through the door, every time the cats meow, every time something happens, I would have to include it in my videos. Or just cut those parts out if I could even do that. This person and I were best friends. And I feel like I was living in the past for the last 4 years? No, 5. This person has crossed the line one too many times. One of the times she crossed the line between a family member and I. And you don't do that. You don't fucking do that. Now that family member and I are no longer speaking because they can't get over their grudge. And I wasn't even the person who started rumors. There was another person in my family that started rumors about another person in my family. And I didn't know whose side to take. And because I didn't take this family member's side that my best friend decided to go and create trouble with, instead of waiting until I spoke with that person on my own, that person decides to go and tell them about this rumor that's being spread. And the connivingness of it was that this person, this best friend, laughed about the situation and pretended that she believed this person did it, and da-da-da-da-da. And she was like, oh, that's sick, and all this stuff. I can't go into detail about it, but yeah. So that was one thing, and then on top of that, many times she's told me different things she's did that no person who had a conscience would ever do. Or at least would ever do and not feel guilty about it afterwards. I stole money from someone I knew. It was $50. They didn't care because they had so much money. They didn't even realize it was missing. Doesn't matter. That doesn't excuse the fact that I did it. And I felt guilty for years. I told my family. I told my friends. I told everybody about it. And I came clean. And then there's the fact that I stole at the mall. I mean, how many people go through a shoplifting phase? I know so many people who have. And I did. And I felt guilty. And I ended up getting caught once. And I was already feeling guilty enough that I didn't want to do it after this last time anyway. And while I feel like I manifested getting caught, this next thing you know, I was banned out of the mall for a year. Serves me right. And I told my mom, I couldn't tell her right away, I couldn't bring myself to do it, but I'd say about an hour or so later, I broke down, I was crying, and I told her that I stole from the mall and got kicked out. She was very disappointed in me, and I told other family members, friends, they were disappointed in me. But the point is that this friend has done some stuff. And I won't talk about the things she's done, but she's done some stuff that I don't think she's really told anybody. Other than the person she did something to knows. And the person that she's probably dating knows. I'm guessing. Maybe not. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they know nothing about her. Just like I really didn't. Or maybe I knew too much. Or maybe she was just screwing around with me. Everything she said was a bunch of lies. Who knows? There's a difference between a narcissist who wants attention to do good and a narcissist who just wants attention because they want fucking attention. And I definitely want attention because I want to do good. And this person decided to commit another crime. She decides to, on one of her Facebook accounts, I am a startup photographer. I started my own business, and out of the kindness of my heart, and she can see it as any other way, whatever, I don't care. Sure, I did it for experience, but I also did it so that they could have some cool photos together. Not that they didn't already. But, yeah, so I took some photos of them on New Year's Eve, and it was very clear that I was going to be using them for business purposes. I stated that, and I said I would put them on Facebook for her, and I did. And, well, next thing you know, I have already deleted her on one account. She also liked to get in between other family members and I. And while there was one family member, he just happens to be my stepbrother. And she started just in being her. You know, she thinks she's got the look, she thinks she's the shit. She makes guys fall for her, so everything that comes out of her mouth, they believe. And, well, my little bro must have believed shit she said, and I was telling him that, you know, to watch out, that he should not go for her, even if he was interested, because I've seen how many guys' hearts she's broken, and yes, she's gotten hers broken too, but that gives her no excuse. I was just warning him, and he got upset, and our relationship was never the same after that. And so I've resented her for maybe something she said to him, something she said to my other family member, different things. She's done a lot of shit. On top of that, when I was young, I was supposed to go to a concert and go on a trip with her, and she decides that the only way I can go is if I do whatever she wants. And so at the time it served me. I really wanted to go to that concert and really wanted to go on that trip. I was never, you know, my parents couldn't afford to bring me anywhere. I was like, that would be amazing. You know, that it was all going to be paid for. However, you know, next thing you know, she's like, if you don't do this, you're not going. If you don't do that, you're not going. If you don't put this in the garbage, you're not going. And so eventually it served me more to take her out of my life and not use her. I think she would have learned a little bit then. But no. She just kept using people over the years. And her excuse is that, oh, these people wanted to do that. She's right. They did. Under false pretenses. You are a liar. Okay? If you're watching this, people did those things for you because you lied to them. You sold them a sob story and they fell for it. Just like I have many a time. And so you can go ahead and post shit on your wall saying people are mean, but you know what? You started it. If I'm compelled to do something and stop being your friend because of your actions, I have every right to do that. When you ignore me for months and months on end at times, or I send you texts and all of a sudden you don't get it until conveniently you've convinced yourself to walk out of the fucking door and hang out with a person, then you know what? It just didn't seem worth it to me anymore. It was too much work. I put so much effort into that friendship. So much. I can't control you. You can't control me. You haven't been able to control me. I also imagine that bothers you. There was never any control anyway. It's whatever we chose to do and what served us better. And you just happen to think that your best interest was always of more service than anybody else's. You've always been like that, and you are still like that. You got better, and then you regressed. I have started a photography business and took pictures of this person and their boyfriend, and all of a sudden, you know, like I said, I was going through my Little bro, I deleted him because I don't have time for people who don't have time for me. He's too into things, you know, whatever. They're his choice. He doesn't care about his family, his father, me, his stepmom, whatever. It is what it is. And so I'm just not taking shit from anybody anymore. So I deleted him. And I just happened to, for some reason, because I was so resentful and so angry and pissed off at this girl, I don't know why it came to me, but I was like, I wonder if he's still friends with her. Knowing that I'm sure someday my little bro was going to grow up. Because this person certainly hasn't. And I was just wondering if he was still friends with her. Well, lo and behold, on one of her other accounts, they're still friends. So she had me on one account, my little bro on another. Talk about two-timing people. Obviously, she wanted, I don't know if it was because she was playing games or if she was trying to have a private life away from others. Sure, I guess I could have added her on both, but what the frig? Do you think you're so special that you need 2 profiles? Really? God, there's a difference. When I make, and you have more than 2 profiles, this person also has fake profiles to sit here and con people into things. I got fucking interrupted again. Just wonderful. I don't even think I was going to start out this thing as a rant until I got interrupted so many damn times. And so, well, guess it is what it is. You call me mean. You go ahead. You go right ahead. The things you've done is like evil reincarnated. Honestly. Nothing boils my blood more than a person who is so selfish and yeah, okay, I'm selfish, I'm self-indulged, I am. But I guarantee you that I make time for people and I don't fucking ignore people purposely. Somebody messages me, I don't pretend I didn't get their message. No amount of justification is ever going to convince me that you didn't get my texts. So sick of the lies. So sick of the bullshit. You know, there's a reason why God's taken those people out of my life, these last couple of people I've been ranting about. And I know that why that is. Because I'm on the path of honesty, and these people want to stay in their little world. Their world where they tell nobody about all the bad things they did, and they tell me, and then I have to keep their fucking secrets. You know what's awesome? The secrets I've told you guys, I've told other people. I tell people right here on this channel. These 2 people are wondering why they're stuck. Let me tell you why. Because you're not doing anything to grow. Anyway, so this person that was my best friend, she, on that other account, lo and behold, I see one of the photos I took of them without the watermark. Her and I discussed prior to her posting anything that she was to post pictures as long as the watermark was there and credit was given. Yeah. So I see no watermark. Watermark was cropped out of the photo. Thanks a lot. I wasn't vengefully stopping talking to you because I didn't want to be your friend. I stopped talking to you because you were ignoring me. You were showing me signs that you didn't want to be my friend and that you didn't want to hang out. So I took the hint. There's some people that seem to think that I get to know a lot about a person so I can manipulate them or change them. No, I get to know a lot about a person to see how compatible we are and if we're on the same page. Not to say whatever page someone else is on is better or I'm on a better page than they are. That's not what I'm saying. If the person isn't about being honest and is going to ignore me, well, point taken. You obviously don't want to be friends. You obviously don't want to grow with me. And if there was an issue and you weren't dealing with a resentment or you were resenting me for dealing with resentments with you that have never been talked about because you ignore everything, fuck. Things you ignore from people. Things I've heard you talk about you've done. I can be a friend, and I can accept you, but if you're going to start ignoring me, You already knew I didn't agree with the things you did. Don't say that I'm just coming out now about how pissed and angry I was about the things you've done. It's become more of a resentment because you've done the same fucking things to me, like lending me money and then saying I don't have to pay you back because I had given you money and bought you things before that. Yes, you did some things for me. Great. However, when you said I didn't have to pay you back, and then you slyly come about and say, oh my God, I just don't have any money for my car. My car is gonna get shut down. And you knew that I would get you to drive me places sometimes. And I don't know if you didn't realize this, but later on, now that we have a car, I've offered you to go places. So if you've got a resentment against me for asking you to drive me somewhere, you might want to check yourself. Or at least tell me about it. But no, you don't deal with stuff like that. And then, on top of that, you end up basically guilting me with your sob story. And I imagine that's not what the money was for. It's probably for other stuff, which I won't mention. And, yeah. So, here I was, all of a sudden giving you back the money you had lent me a couple months later. Wow. Apparently I didn't have to pay it back, but yet I did. So you start paying me back, and then all of a sudden you start ignoring me when you can't afford paying me back, or whatever the hell your excuse was. Sure, things were happening in your life that you needed money for, but I'm sorry, you're not the center of the universe. Other people need money too. And when you make a promise to pay someone back, because the whole point was that you said you didn't want your money back, say what you mean and mean what you say. If you wanted your money back, I would have paid you back, and you know that. But to cause a drama like that, and then just, and then blame everything on me and call me the dramatic one, and me, I'm this and I'm that. Just because I was more honest about how things you said or did made me feel, didn't mean that just because you didn't say what you were feeling, didn't mean that I couldn't sense it. Because your actions spoke louder than words. Ignoring me, not taking my calls. If you're ever wondering exactly what I felt for you and you just couldn't take it and that's why you unsubscribed to the channel, if you ever see this, now you know. Because you've never, ever let me say what I needed to say without walking out, without getting pissed off, without acting like a fucking bitch. Now, it's getting personal. I'm calling names, and it's not where I wanted to go with this. It is what it is now. You know, I just don't take to being used and then thrown away. And that's how it seems to have been in this friendship the whole time. Sure, it can look like I've thrown you away. And yes, I basically have stopped being friends with you just to see if you would grow up. But I can't change you, you can't change me. No matter how hard any of us tries, we can't change each other. That's a myth. I believe that is a myth. And so the only way things are going to change for you is if you change them, because I can't change them. And you made that clear. Anyways, you know, to the point where you would tell me your information, and I would catch you in your lies, and I would tell you about how I caught you in your lie. Because I'm honest like that. You know, a lot of people would catch people in lies and not say anything and then talk about that person behind their back and blah, blah, blah. But I always went to you first and I'd say, didn't you just tell me that you said this to that person or blah, blah, blah. And you'd make up some story and pass it off like it never happened. So, whatever. Anyway, seeing that photo on there boiled my blood, posted it on my page, because I think that is totally wrong to do something so illegal and so heartless when I'm trying to build my business, and you can't be a civil human being and share that. Share my watermark. No. Even when we were friends. You posted that on January 6th or something? Or 9th? We were still talking then. What is going through your head when you do rude things like that? Honestly. And to think that I trusted you many a time. And then you had the gall after I nicely wrote you a message and said, I would appreciate it if you're going to use Or I said something like, you do not have permission to use my property as your profile photo, and if you decide to, I would appreciate that you ask for permission to use it without the watermark, or at least have the decency to put it up with the watermark. And then I said, what a spit in the face. Because honestly, that is a spit in the face. Who does that? I don't care if somebody stops talking to me. I'm not going to do that to them with their business and their property. You are knowingly taking business away from me and making that look like that was your photo. That is not your photo. That is not your property. It was taken with my camera, and I'm telling you, if it weren't such a process to go through the Facebook copyright stuff, I would in a second, definitely send Facebook a breach of copyright notice about you. However, I am so busy with editing, with making time for my friends and my family, instead of being cooped up in a basement or wherever and deciding that that's better than connecting with someone I keep telling I want to connect, but I never do. It's always bullshit with you. You know, like, wow, you connect with me once a freaking month. You were sick. I brought you a care package. I was sick. You probably didn't even fucking know. And if you did, you found out through my videos, and you still refuse to message me and ask me how I was doing. For some reason, you don't think I'm important enough to do shit like I do for you. For the last few birthdays, I've always celebrated yours, paid for things, gotten you things. I haven't seen anything from you for my birthdays. Not that it's all about getting things. You can't tell me you don't enjoy getting things. Snickering under your breath when I get you a $30 gift card for the movies and then telling me that you spend a lot more than that when you go. What the hell was the point of that? Like, who does that? You appreciate something somebody gets you. I'm sorry that I don't have, thousands of dollars that you can take from me and not pay back. And even if I did, and you really needed it, and I knew you weren't lying, that would be the key. I knew you weren't lying. I would probably still help you, because that's who I am. And of course, you're not that person. Because if you were, you would have kept the watermark on my photo. And you can't say I'm not that kind of person, because if you do, then you don't know me, and you never have. And the thing is that I feel like I've given my heart to you so many times just to get it stomped on. And how many times have I told you I appreciated you, and I felt bad for some of the things I've said and done? And that's what I get, is ignored because you have a boyfriend and because you have this, and there's always an excuse with you. Oh, I live somewhere else. I'm too far away. Or, oh, I've got a job. This resentment is probably going to stay here for a long time until you decide to help me by staying with me. Because I've stayed with you through your resentments. You'd walk in on me venting about you because I couldn't vent to your face, ever. You wouldn't listen to me. So you walk in on me venting on you, about you, and you get all angry, you still don't let me talk to you, and you want to walk out and leave. I've never seen someone so stubborn in my entire life, and I'm a stubborn person. To not hear people out and hear them through, you've been like that with everybody I know. Boyfriends you've had, your family, your other friends, and you wonder why you don't want to go anywhere. Because you're not open. Open your heart, for crying out loud. I imagine if you did that, that would be the missing piece of the puzzle. It's hard to change the way we are. However, we just gotta do it if it doesn't serve us anymore. And I'm sorry, it doesn't serve you. You're losing people left, right, and center. Or you're pushing people away left, right, and center. We'll tell you one thing that I do appreciate about you. Is the fact that you, even though you blocked and deleted me after sending you that message, I went on another account, a family member's account, with their permission, and I saw that you still had it up. And so either I have access to a family member's account, and can see that. Or you kept it up there, I imagine, because you really like that photo. And that I'm grateful for. I'm really grateful that you like something I've done for you. Because as far as I know, it feels like everything you've ever thanked me for has been fake. I can't see that you're grateful because your actions don't show any gratitude. So the only thing I can deduce is that you're keeping that up there because you really like it and you appreciate it. You may not appreciate me, I imagine. However, if you didn't like it, I imagine that you would have deleted it. And so that's part of the reason why I'm also not starting a claim against you. If you like it, whatever, put it up there. That's fine. I'm not going to fight about it. I just think it was utterly immature and wrong, and it is illegal for you to take something that is watermarked and get rid of the watermark and put it up without at least giving credit or asking for permission. That is how photography works. Even if you were to take a picture of me, you could say, that is mine, you can't use it, you can't alter it, you can't do anything. That is the truth. Those pictures were taken by me. You gave me permission to take those pictures and put them up on Facebook. They are my property. That is a release waiver that you gave me. So, for you to try and take control of the situation like that, it's not your control to be had. So, I hope you watched this, and I hope you got a gist of all my resentments, and now you see that I appreciate you for that. If you want to be a rebel and delete it, whatever, that's fine. That would be great if you deleted it. If not, you make a decision, because ultimately you're the only one that can. The point is that when you're a friend, you grow together, and we're not 15 years old here. It's like you will find anything and everything to go back to the 15 over and over, including basically pretending you're a teenager on YouTube, you know, like, now I'm in judgment mode. I'm basically talking to myself. I don't have anyone that I'm speaking my resentments to, so they're not going to be bettered at all at this time. Praise. I was in a great mood before I made this video. And then interruptions came and the anger came back. I'm grateful for the support I've been getting from Lara, from Angie, from Andrea. Wow, lots and lots of support. I really appreciate that. Trisha, wow, amazing. You guys are awesome. Quest Away Last Facebook page, wow. Even if we're the only ones still rocking it out, basically, with, you know, my mom and my grandmother and aunt who make sporadic updates. My mom hasn't made an update because she's not really participating in that way, making updates, but she is really, really, like, trying to support more than just me, and she's got a lot going on, so it's really awesome that she's doing that, and I love her. And then there's Catherine, who's trying her best, despite what's going on in her life, and I appreciate you, girl, for that. And, yeah, I'm just really grateful for the Quest Away Less, and I'm grateful that I'm getting caught up on videos, and that so far people have been very receptive to my boundaries on me needing to do work from Sunday to Wednesdays, and I've actually been getting caught up even with the procrastinating, so that's nice. I also want to state an appreciation for Christina, for you coming back. I know that this is probably offending a lot of people, and I hope that I don't scare off new subscribers or old ones. That's not the intention. You guys can't tell me you don't get mad about stuff, and if you do, you shift your perspective, and you know what, it's going to come back, and then later on, you're going to realize that you've got some sort of disease or some sort of issue that's going on in your body, and you're going to wonder where that came from, and that's called resentment, stored in your cells and in your body. That's what that is. Resentment is the root of all disease. So, if you don't deal with things that are going on with you in the moment, like I haven't, it's going to build up, like you saw. I was crying. I've got anger issues. Like, I'm not even going to lie about that. I haven't. Obviously, you can tell. But I don't hurt people physically. My husband and I went through an abusive stage, and we've gotten over that ourselves without even having to need a therapist. And well, instead of harming an animal or a human being, see this fork? I just bent it because I was really upset that every time I make a video, it seems like somebody is coming out, somebody's doing something. And I know I'm not the only person that lives here, and I understand that. However, when I set a boundary, you think that that would be respected, and it's just not. So I'm going to leave you guys with a quote from Fritz Perls. I do my thing, and you do your thing. I'm not in this world to live up to your expectations, and you are not in this world to live up to mine. You are you, and I am I, and if by chance we find each other, it's beautiful. If not, it can't be helped. And so being inspired by that in this moment, and putting things into perspective, into a different perspective, I realize that, you know, this person is now being themselves, they are they, I am I, I'm doing my thing, they're doing their thing. And both of us do not have the same path. And that's fine. That's okay. It was beautiful while it lasted. And now it's time for me to let it go, as I did when I took the first step. It's been a hard time letting go. I'm grieving for the most part, but that's just causing me suffering. And so that's why, another reason, I imagine, I decided to just let the picture go. The more and more I just dwell on this and allow things to affect me like that, the worse I'm going to feel and the more stressed out I'm going to feel. Well, that person, she's like sitting there on the sidelines laughing at me or calling me a bitch or talking about me behind my back instead of having the decency to sit on video and make a video response or text me or message me back, you know? This person seems to think that, you know, the way to do it is just ignore the issue and it'll go away. But you know what? I don't have to do anything to you. I don't have to get you back. I don't have to do whatever. I'm going to tell you this. Karma is there. I don't need to do anything. So, you know, keep committing crimes, you're going to get caught one of these days. Keep breaking hearts, you're going to get your heart broken really bad one of these days. That's the way it is. And go ahead and try and get me in trouble for making a video that really isn't about anyone in particular. There are no names on here. So I've left the guilty nameless. I wish we could have made things better, could have worked things out. And to be honest, I love you with all my heart. And anybody can judge me and say that in the words I've said, that's not love, whatever, that's up to them. However, everybody loves differently. If you think that you're allowed to be different from me, then I'm also allowed to be different from you. And I love people. I also am real, so I show my anger as well. And so anger can stop me from seeing through the eyes of love. So today is Tuesday, March 12th, 2013, and I still have a little rant to go on. I know a lot of people who profess their devotion to God, and a lot of them stay true to their faith in Him and their belief in Him, much like I do, loving someone, whether they're negative or not, staying with someone, whether they're negative or positive, these labels that people like to put on everyone these days, just so nobody has to help anyone. Oh, you're too negative, I can't help you. It's more like you don't want to give in to them continuing to play the victim. So the way you do that is you set boundaries. You don't cut those people out of your life. At least that's not how it has worked for me. Anytime I've cut someone out of my life, they've always ended up back in my life. And I wonder why that is. The lesson is to not cut people out of your life because of your judgment of them, your perception, your beliefs of the world forming a whole premise that this person is totally negative. Now, there are some people I know that are total God Bible thumpers. And the first thing they're saying is that I need to cut all the negative people out of my life. Negative and positive are perceptions. You are not God. You don't get to condemn those people. Now, if somebody is physically hurting you, I totally can empathize with that. I can empathize with that. I have trouble because when I did it, I always felt guilty for leaving people out of my life, especially when they wanted to come back, and I ignored them. Here is karmic retribution. I have really good friends ignoring me right now. And so the thing is if you believe in God and you're going to put your faith in Him and you're going to tell the world that, you better have something to back it when you don't follow those rules. Either you are using the Bible and God as a crutch, I imagine, to make people think you are perfect when in fact you have your flaws just like everyone else. And the difference is that you're trying to hide those flaws behind a book. And so the thing is that we're all human, and God knows that. He created us. Do you think for 1 second that He would put a difficult person in your life just so you could hate them? Don't you think that when you ask for patience and you ask to love people, that God is putting those people in your life so that you will be patient with them, so that you will love them? Just because someone has a resentment for you doesn't mean that they are negative, and it doesn't mean that they don't love you, because underneath all resentment and all appreciation is unconditional love. So, the next time you go spouting off your beliefs about God being your Savior and God being this, you better be helping the next person that your brain tells you is negative and you need to stay away from them. Because that's not what we need. That is what causes wars. Labeling somebody different than yourself and cutting them out of your life. It's going to anger that person. It's going to hurt them. And because they're choosing that, you really got to know the person you're casting out of your life. Because one of these days, it's not going to be a good thing. Some people have killed themselves over being so lonely because people think they're too negative. How is you cutting a person out of your life for being negative any better than cutting the bully out of your life that needs the help? Or the victim of the bully. Victim, physical violence, I feel that's you can call a victim. Now, it's like, I don't know, I'm just kind of rambling here, but it's just coming to me like, you want to be like Christ or God or Allah or whoever you believe in, aren't you going to want to save people? To help save people? Oh, obviously, people can only help themselves. So if I'm in a bad mood and you start ignoring me because I was in a bad mood once, who are you to judge and say that I'm going to be in a bad mood every time you see me? Who are you to judge that I don't deserve to hear you or be around you? Where in the Bible does God say, I haven't read it, but if you know, and you have read it, or you know passages and such, let me know. Where does God say to not be there for someone? To not help others? Where does God say that? And another thing, love thy neighbor like thy love thyself. How can you say that you are loving your neighbor like you love yourself? And apparently you love yourself a lot if you know who you got to walk away from in order to keep that love for yourself high. Who are you to say? Who are you to say that person doesn't deserve your love? If we put it in that context, if you're able to just shove someone out of your life, what is that saying about your true self? That is saying that you are shoving that person out of your life because you see something in them that you don't like, that you used to do, or that you do now, and aren't being conscious of it. You're not taking responsibility for it. And so instead of dealing with it, you throw that person out of your life, and you say, look, life is better now, until it happens again. If you're one of the lucky people in this world that have gotten rid of people and then you've never had friction with anyone else, please comment below. I would love to hear about your story. You're not showing that you love yourself if you can ignore others. You are showing that you have no respect for yourself. You're showing that you have no empathy for yourself. You're showing that you have no faith in your ability to solve an issue. You are showing so many different things about your character when you cast someone aside because they don't live up to what you want them to be. Does God do that to you? Sure, some people believe that if you're not good enough for going to heaven because you're irreparable, you go to hell. So some people could take that as, oh, well, I feel that that person's not repairable, so I'm going to cast them out down to hell. I can no longer do that to people. I won't. Do you know how many times I've wanted to delete people during a confrontation, which would have led to conflict resolution had the person or people stayed with me and I stayed with them? I'm stubborn, okay? So a lot of the time it takes me a while to admit that I have done something wrong. I've got an ego too. Ego is what makes us push away people because it means that we're pushing away an opportunity to grow. And so if you are on a journey and you're wanting to grow and you're wanting to learn new things, wouldn't it be more important to face the issue, instead of calling someone an abuser or calling them this and that, when all I was doing was trying to help you? And same with the other friend who's not talking to me and is using my photo illegally. I've only ever tried to help you. Sure, I've said things about you behind your back. And sure, that would anger you. That would anger anybody. But the difference is that I have a few people in my life that I tell everything to. My husband, my mother, and used to be you. And the thing is that when you aren't receptive to me, because you never are. You never were. You never have been. I think you might have been receptive to me once, and I think you've apologized to me once, our whole friendship, and you've only cried in front of me once. That showed me that you had some sort of decency and care for me and for our friendship. And that was the first time I ever stuck up to you without stopping being your friend. That there was a real version of conflict resolution. And that was the only time I saw that happen, in the moment. Without you leaving and saying, fuck this, I don't want to be here, I don't want to hear you, whatever you have to say is nothing, and blah, blah, blah. Everything I've done with good reason. I don't need to rationalize it, and I don't need to justify anything during our friendship, and neither do you. However, the thing is if you're going to ignore me after we've come so far, and you're not going to make an effort in your own life, and you're going to get rid of me by ignoring me, it's unfortunate, really. It really is. And that's why I deleted you. Anyway, so that's it for now. I just wanted to get that out there. For that topic, I have another little topic I want to talk about. I can't stop freaking eating. I'm going to start my period probably soon. I don't know exactly when. I don't pay attention to that sort of stuff. Honestly, it is what it is. It's going to happen at some point. Why? It's like, I don't even pay attention to the date. So why would I sit there and track on a calendar, just like, whatever. Maybe if we're going to try and have a kid, but even then that just brings along stress. Just let life be what it is, instead of counting the days away. But yeah, I have been eating so much, so freaking much, like over calorie every single day. So, and like eating muffins and cookies or cupcakes and cookies and barely any fruits and vegetables, like, in the last few days. It's ridiculous. Like, I had some fruit in the yogurt parfaits that I was eating, but that's it, you know. Oh, and I'm gonna eat this, like, right after I'm done, so I'm choosing to do it, so why be overly dramatic about it? I'm just gonna eat it, and that's that, and deal with it. Tomorrow's weigh-in day, so that should be interesting, with that time of the month coming along and eating the way I have been. So anyway, that's that. Thanks for watching. Namaste.
Heart so deep, can't you see the light?